Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camp Patton Family Compound. It is time for Friday night in the homestead, and tonight's topic is homemade leavened flatbread and more. And I got somebody here with me, Tammy from Rebel Canners,
Hello.
and there is once again this started out going to keep it simple, and then I had to add more to it because my brain started working in another realm and realized, holy moly, about flatbreads. So before we jump into that, let me hop over here and just see who all's here. All right, Sumi was out with the dogs at the dog parks, and she'll be coming back in when she gets home. Walt Rogers is here, and he said, bring on the sourdough. And Phelan Klein Wolf said, cast iron breads too. Boy Scout, of course. Mother Earth Garden Club is here. And we got more than that in the house here. We got lurkers, so that's fine. Lurkers, would appreciate though. You just said lurking, check in for us. And everybody, please remember to hit the thumbs up and share it out here. Excuse me. All right. So, flatbreads. Yes, I'm giving some of it away here of what changed several hours ago. So let me bring up the slides here. I only got a couple slides, and I got a bunch of. Got some Google search. Here he is. Here he is. The chef is here.
I just spent 10 minutes trying to log in to my work computer. It's the same computer, like they look identical. I'm like, why is my pin wrong? Why is my pin wrong? What are you doing? And I looked at the cover. I was like, oh crap, this is my work computer.
That will not work.
Yeah, that's right. That's why it's not turned on right now.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Lewis just popped in. It's the Marshmallow Man. And he says, Lewis? I'm glad I ate before the stream. And Happy Mac came in on your side. Tammy says, can only say a few. No power today. Trees down. Flooding in upstate New York. Oh, boy.
Ooh. Yeah, there shows nothing on the radar coming here, but it feels like there's a storm, and we have no internet. So I'm on no Wi-Fi.
Darren
I had
Cole.
3 days worth. Oh, sorry. I had 3 days worth of rain here. It just stopped late this afternoon. The mosquitoes are out in force, and I had to go out and pick another 10 gallons of tomatoes. And I got a
terrible thing.
busy. I got about 100 pounds of tomatoes to process tomorrow.
All right, couple things real quick. So when you're out there in those mosquitoes, put on a little real vanilla, get a little bit and put it on. Evidently, the mosquitoes hate it, and you'll smell nice and sweet for the wife.
Oh, they don't like me anyway. They only love my wife. They come to me, they land on me, they barely bite, and they leave. I'm like, whatever. Occasionally I'll get one on my back, but I think there's something in my blood they just don't like.
Now, could that be something from when you were over in Chernobyl?
It's all that garlic he. It's all that garlic he eats.
Maybe.
All right. Darren Cole, who is Thorhaven Homestead up there in Canada, has been posting on Facebook just pictures and then did a couple reels as well of the storm that's going up the East Coast. So, yeah, it's there kind of wet up there for eastern Pennsylvania and up into New York and on up into New England, and everything else there is getting kind of wet.
Yeah, so. Maine is going to get their ass handed to them here shortly.
And then the Canadians are going to get it.
That's all right. No, I'm just kidding.
And then I'll whip around and I'll get it after it whips back around.
I'm related to like 90% of Newfoundland, so yeah, that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
You're related to Newfoundland? I'm related to probably everybody on Nova Scotia.
Well,
no lie.
There's probably just, my sister been up there 3 times now, and every gravestone, every graveyard she goes to is like my last name. I mean, my grandfather he moved down from there, and everybody up there back in the day was related to everybody for the most part, and everybody knows everybody. And yeah, I could literally go there, knock on a door, and say, "Hey, I'm a tailor. Can I stay here for the night?" Like, yep, no problem.
All right, and so I guess so. Mother Earth says they've been without rain for 3 days. The mosquitoes don't like her either, but the gnats are just getting her. And Jeffrey Hooley is up from Australia. And Lewis is saying the storm missed me in Ontario. So, but there's trailing stuff, I guess, still going up the thing, because the things I saw being posted, I mean, it's like a long, skinny one, just going up there of rain. So Happy Max says grandfather's family are on Prince Edward Island.
Yep, I've been there too.
Yeah,
many times.
All right, so there's some weird weather things going on, and I know when I was a kid, and when it was raining and had cold fronts and stuff, my grandmother made breads, all sorts of breads, dinner rolls, whatever it was. We just loved the smell of the fresh bread, and then putting honey and butter and jams on it and stuff like that. It was absolutely delicious.
So fun fact about making bread and weather, which is ironic, we related that one. You can literally have identical to the milligram of all your ingredients. You can make bread on a hot summer day. You can make bread in the dead of winter when it's cold and super dry, and you can make bread somewhere in between. You will get 3 different outcomes every time because of the humidity, the pressure. I mean, if your tropical pressure is high, you get minimal growth on your yeast. If it's too low, if it's a low pressure system like a storm going through, your yeast just has a ball. It's just it's a science that, good luck figuring it out, but it's a science.
Now, what about making the breads with out yeast? The
sourdough?
No.
That's yeast.
Baking soda, baking flour.
Baking soda, and
quick breads. Yeah, similar.
Quick breads.
Because that's more pressure related, and humidity.
Yeah.
I mean, a little more humidity, your bread will be a little stickier. It's just really bizarre, but you'll be close, and you'll never make the same loaf twice. I've been in many commercial bakeries. The temperature and humidity are highly controlled in the facility, and to maintain a specific constant, that way their bread always comes out the same.
Yeah. So Suzanne Gillet's in on your side there, Tammy.
Hi.
All right, so let's look at. I got a couple of pictures on the slides, but then I just brought up some. I just brought up a Google search for a bunch of things here to show you guys too. So let's take some look at stuff. So, okay, of course, when I was growing up, my grandmother didn't do flatbreads. She did all the yeast and stuff, and the quick breads and stuff. But flatbreads like the pita bread and stuff like that, I didn't hear about pita bread till I was in my early 20s, when my mom was making little pita pocket chicken salad sandwiches in the pita bread, So
making pita bread's fun because you could use pretty much. I hate to say, I use an artisan recipe, which is like 4 ingredients: flour, yeast, salt, water. That's it. No eggs, no nothing. And when I make artisan bread in my Dutch oven in the oven, it's, I just let it rise a couple hours, and I fold it 4 times, let it rise again, fold it 4 times. I do that like 3-4 times, and I put it in the oven, and you get the big air bubbles, and that's really good. If you take that same dough and you basically work it to death, you work it down hard, and then you make your little tiny balls, let them rise a little bit, you roll them out into like 6-7 inch pancakes, and throw them in a cast iron skillet on the stove at like 400. and you brown one side, you brown the other side, and all of a sudden it raises up. You get the bubbles, and it makes a pocket.
Cool. All right, next one here. But probably the most famous flatbread that I didn't realize until I was doing my research here,
Pizza crust.
thin crust pizza.
Yep.
I mean, it's yeah. And then of course, that's the Americanized version, being round, of the Italian square stuff like I got behind me here, which is actually supposed to be really healthy because they use a different type of wheat flour than we use here. But so I'm going to tick a lot of people off, which means this means that Chicago deep dish style pizza is a
pie.
Is that yeah, it's a pie, but it's a pasteurization of
Italian artisan. Yeah. They're good. Don't get me wrong. I've had many a Chicago deep dish. They're good. They're tedious to make.
Yeah.
But are you going to get into different flours here? Because I'll wait on that one.
I got to bring stuff in on that. Then there is the unleavened flatbreads.
Tortillas.
Well, this is matzahs and tortillas and stuff. These were cooked in a cast iron skillet. Then there is the both the leavened and unleavened flatbreads that are tossed in the frying oil.
Yeah, you can keep those.
Oh, I am known for my Navajo tacos.
Mm-hmm.
What, deep fried bread? Deep fried bread?
Yep.
And the first time I had this was when I was living in Fredonia, Arizona, which was bordering the Navajo Indian Reservation.
Yeah. I actually, the person here for the tribe that is here in Michigan, commonly called the Chippewa tribe. That's not the real name, but we'll go there. Their Indian fry bread person didn't show up, so I actually made fry bread for the whole powwow, and passed. Everybody said it was really, really good. So
great. You're an Indian.
Actually, well, that takes me to the other one. I actually also made naan for my friend from India, who was missing his family and missing real food that he's used to, comfort food, and was having a hard time. So I actually made him garlic naan and was told it was as good as his mother's. So I am both Indian and Indian in my cooking skills.
So you could be Kamala. And anyway, just kidding.
No.
Oh, all right.
I cannot prove any Native American or any East Indian ancestry. I have tried. I have rumors of Indian ancestry. My family has 5 stories where we lived with Native Americans on the same land in over 100 years. Story time.
Well, you could run for Senate in California, then, can't you?
I think I'm more Native American than that U.S. senator who tried to claim to be Native American, but that's another story.
All right, Mother Earth. When we get going here a little bit, I may have something for you to help deal with that. That's what she's saying about. Yeah. So that's because the modern American wheat has been
modified.
No, that's not bred to change it from being a 7-8 foot tall wheat stalk to being a 3 foot tall wheat stalk, from having 13 chromosome makeups in the wheat to having 29 chromosome makeups in the wheat.
Yeah, it's no longer organically natural. It's all man-made crap.
But it wasn't done. It wasn't genetically modified. It was selectively bred
Yeah,
be this
selectively
way.
bred. Well, all right. Corn was selectively bred by the natives of the Americas, North and South, from grass. And they bred the different grasses till they got bigger things of seeds on it, and the seeds changed to and that's how they got corn.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here.
But you can also make flatbreads. I've made a really good, and I have a recipe. I have a really good flatbread that's made with almond flour.
Yeah.
So you can actually make gluten free, which are then that's higher in protein, lower in carbs. So that would be good for a diabetic diet. And I do have that video.
And Angel's Homestead is here too. All right. And now this here is sourdough flatbread.
Yeah.
Yum.
You can make a flatbread out of any dough you want.
Yeah.
You just don't bake it in the oven. You pound it down, flatten it out, roll it out, and throw it in the frying pan or oil or whatever.
Foatia.
All right. That's the last one of that I have. So let me hit this, bring us up here while I do the changing of the what I got going on over here on the side. Yeah, that one there. Hang on, I got that was one thing I was going to try to sneak in. I couldn't get it done. So I brought up different things depending on how I did it. There we go. Yeah. Some of the pictures are the same. Some of them are different. So let's look at some stuff. And what's interesting in here, when you Google flatbread, down under the pictures here, it says where it's coming from. A lot for a lot of it. You got several of them here from Sally's Baking Edition, Better Homes and Garden, Stacy Ling, Cozy Apron, a bunch of different ones. The Recipe Critic, Kitchen Sanctuary. So you're going to get recipes for all these different types of flatbread. And so the big one here is Easy Flatbread Recipe, and you just click the visit, and it takes you to the web page. So there's Margarita Flatbread Pizza from Mission Foods. You know, all these different type of flatbreads in here.
Yeah, good luck rolling your dough out to be that perfectly rectangular. Just saying.
Well, I know how my mom used to do it. She had a low side cookie sheet, pan cookie sheet that had sides on it. Yep. And she had a marble rolling pin which fit snugly in there.
Nice.
And then she just had to trim the ends a little bit to make it right. But yeah, so there's all sorts of fun ones, and so let me go from this one here, which is just turkey's flatbread. Let me throw that one up. With shredded meat on there, and then you have your garnishes. I mean, that looks. If this was done with a type of flour I'm going to show you, this is almost keto. I'm going to show you the special flour here that we've talked about earlier this week. But all right. So the other one is that's just Googling flatbread. Now, what I Googled before was homemade flatbread, and some whoa, had some feedback there from somebody. And there is a bunch of different ones here, and for some reason it's not showing it like it did on the other computer. Let me do it this way here. Backspace IRON cast iron. I'm just going to put cast iron in there, and it shows cooking the different breads in pounds. Yeah, there were some better pictures when I did the Google search on the other computer.
That's why you save your beef tallow, so you can do your fry bread in beef tallow, not crap oils and Crisco and other super hydrogenated processed garbage.
Exactly.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
and if you're of a certain how do I want to put it, a certain flavor, instead of using the beef tallow, you're going to use the lard.
Yeah, and bacon fat. Yum.
Exactly. But there's some good ones here. I mean, you know, look at here we go. Look at the way this one here is puffing up. Oh, that just looks so perfect. Just slather, whatever you want to call it, some butter on it, followed by a thin layer of low sugar jam or jelly, and then a little bit, then just a sprinkling of don't jump on me yet. A sprinkling of pure cane sugar, confectioner's sugar. Just a sprinkling. But and then they have they make, you know, like a sandwich type thing on it, on the whole thing. But there is a lot of different. There's small ones, almost like biscuits as well. So what was the other thing I looked at here? Here's your thin crust, and some of these thin crust pizzas are really, really thin.
You just need a very high gluten bread flour to do that. You can't use AP or anything else. You need high gluten bread flour to make thin crust, because if you don't, when you go to stretch it, it just rips.
Well, the Italians use a very low gluten, and I will show that here in a minute here. All right, so actually, let me go ahead and bring up what one of the things I found here. Go to my list, because I have it in my list here. That's under. I may have put it under health because what it. Yes. So this, and there's another one that begins with A, and I haven't found it for sale since the first time I saw it. I can't remember what it is, but yeah. So this is low gluten index. All the fun stuff on it, easy to digest, and this is what the Mediterranean still use for their this and the other one for their wheat flour. So they use a very low gluten one, but the way they don't pull it, I guess they roll it out.
No, so there is a slight difference there. So low gluten index doesn't mean it has no gluten or low gluten itself. The gluten is just the binding part of it. It's a scientific thing. But low gluten index means it's a organic style, old school, whatever you want to call it, type of wheat. But it still has good stretching power.
Okay. Oh, I like the one in the big book, glyphosate free.
Yeah, it's Italy.
Yeah. So
yeah, they've banned it there.
They banned it everywhere but here. But anyway,
this is on Amazon, and so this is a 10-pound bag of flour. We go over for $46 for a 10-pound bag. This is the cheapest. This is the cheapest einkorn flour I could find. Yeah. So this is one of those things that soon as the bank account's back up from paying off all the trees being taken down, this is on my next thing to buy from Amazon. And then I will be making bread and doing a if not a live stream, I'll be doing a high speed, you know, in between type things and stuff. So nothing like biscuits and gravy.
What's up, Sumi?
Sumi's here. I hope you survived the dog park.
Yeah, einkorn is made from ancient grain, which is true. And it's a different, it still has the gluten and all that. It just doesn't have the the glycemic index, all that stuff is just totally different than the stuff that we're eating these days.
I'm just trying to figure this. See if it'll bring up the other ones. All right, I did a thing here, and so this is for those that want to get onto it. So let me share it here. So I put in old school wheat because I couldn't think of what I did it, and came up with virgin wheat, the wheat of our ancestors ate. And what is the very, whatever. So you got ancient grains include varieties of wheat, and they got several different ones here. They don't have the one with A in it that was being recommended several different places around. And of course, is it healthier? Yes. Ancient wheat products are more anti-inflammatory and may improve things like blood sugar control and cholesterol.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. And so I'm going to go on a little side tangent here just for a second. I saw the greatest meme, and it was a meme, but it wasn't a meme. It was in a reel, so it was just a picture on there, and so it just kept repeating the picture, and it basically was a meme that someone turned it into a video and just set it on there. And it was about 90 years ago. About 90 years ago, we stopped eating real wheat, and 90 years ago, no. So was it okay? 90 years ago.
The FDA got involved.
Was it 90 years ago? 95% of the food in the grocery store didn't exist, including the wheat we have. And then it says, coincidentally, 90 years ago, we the disease. 95% of the diseases we now have didn't exist.
Yeah.
So, CB is in the house. That's Hugo Homestead for those that don't know. But let's see here. I'm trying to find something else here for you guys. But I mean, the different types of flatbreads and stuff. I'm just trying to think. Okay, so and this wasn't what I wanted to come up, but it came up good here. From the one thing that's mentioned, here's where you can get. I guess Bob's Red Mill has that one type of wheat. Kamut, whatever. Corazon wheat, and so there's that one. See what other ones they come up with here. Mostly they're staying with for the ancient ones. They're staying with the I-corn, N-corn, whatever you want to call it. But I was trying to find the. We're going to go to the Heritage Flour Baking Company. And ancient wheats, heritage, so they list several other ones. Yeah. So there are. So the Elmer is the second oldest ancestral wheat, and spelt is native to southern Europe, and was one of the first flour found in ancient grains. Spelt is about 2,000 years younger than Elmer, which makes it 6,000 years old. So there's lots of stuff you can do for that. But going back to the making the flatbreads and the other breads, so try to bring this one up here. Oh, I'm talking about. So we talked about sourdoughs. I'm just kind of interested. Has anybody out there used one of the ancient wheats, like the Incorn, wheat to make sourdough bread?
You can use any wheat or rye to make sourdough, but when you start it up, if you're using like a package of yeast to do it, once you do that, you want to stay with that same kind of flour. So you could do it, but you just want to you're going to have to stay with that same kind of flour. If you try to mix it, the yeast is not necessarily designed to digest. Like from wheat to rye is a big jump, and you'd have to do that gradually. You can't just do that, bam. Today I'm adding wheat flour. Tomorrow I'm adding rye. Next week I'm adding bleached, unprocessed or processed AP flour. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people kind of fail at their sourdough starter, thinking they can just grab whatever they have in the cupboard and throw in there because it says, quote, flour.
Yeah. Oh, we just had a couple more people to come in. Cecilia from Raven Cat Homestead and Ryan the Gamer are in the house.
Hello, hello.
And yes, so I was just kind of wondering if things had changed as the wheat here in America changed, if sourdough changed because of the different makeup of the flour was changing from what it used to be.
Well, here's a fun fact you can Google. There are 2 sourdough, for lack of a better term, museums in the world, or repositories. There's one in Europe that has kept these active cultures going that they've gotten from places where they've kept them going for 2,000 years, like literally. And there's like San Francisco sourdough. The yeast in different parts of the world are different.
Yeah.
And they have these sourdoughs all like in this thing, kind of preserving them and keeping them going. And they actually have analyzed the differences between all the different sourdoughs that they have managed to culture. And it's pretty interesting. If you're really into sourdough, it's really interesting.
My question that's popped in my head is, do they just maintain it, or do they, when they actually grow it more, do they give stuff away or sell it to help fund the facility?
The one of them was actually selling some of them.
Because that would be interesting to get some of that starter.
Now, right.
Yeah, but you got to have the same exact flour they're using to feed it, or you'll kill it.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Well, that's the thing. We have like you got the Elmer or Emmer, the Acorn, the spelt flours. Say, hey, I got a supply of this. What is the best sourdough that you would recommend to use with this type of flour? And then you could just keep that going.
And you can go online and you can buy like a San Francisco sourdough, or you can buy an Alaskan sourdough. Yeah. And they will send you the freeze-dried culture to use your yeast. You take that yeast and add it to whatever flour you want to use. Over time, 10, 15 years, it's going to become very unique to you.
Yeah.
Or you could be really creative, like one of my old customers down in Virginia did at a brewery. They used brewer's yeast, and before they would heat the entire batch and kill the yeast, they would skim a lot off of it and then save it in the fridge. And they would just keep using the same yeast over and over again. They only had to buy it once. And occasionally, one of the breweries that had a kitchen there, they would take some of that yeast and they would still add the same type of grains that they were feeding the yeast and the brewer stuff with the hops and the barley and that. And they would make a whole grain sourdough bread out of it, which they could never get it consistent, which is understandable. But it was some of the most amazing whole grain like chunks of grain, like a 20-grain sourdough bread, and they used oats, barley, all the stuff that the brewery had in there for their beer. They used that, some of it, in their breads, which is really cool because yes, all yeasts are different. They truly are. So you could try to make bread out of brewer's yeast that you got from a brewery that they've been growing for a while, and then half the time they'll just give it to you because they get like hundreds of pounds. They put in like 5 pounds or 2 pounds of yeast into these giant tanks, and they'll get 100 pounds of yeast out of it after it blooms and grows and makes its alcohol. And you can do the same with vineyards. Try it, but wine yeast is a whole lot different.
Yeah. And yeah.
But it's worth a shot if you're willing to play and decide to. Let's see if this works. It may or may not work.
You don't need a yeast culture to start a sourdough starter, though.
Oh, no.
You can just add your water to your flour and leave it open to the air, and you can collect it. You can also collect wild yeast off of different fruits. And you can, I know that people, when they make wine, use raisins because of the yeast on the grapes. So kind of what you said, but turn it around. You can collect local yeast and make your own sourdough starter.
Right. And
it's just a lot harder. It's a lot harder.
It was about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Anthony at Palmetto Prepared did a video on collecting the wild yeast he has there in North Carolina. And he went out and talked about this produces yeast, this plant here produces yeast, natural yeast, and he did a video on that too. So that was very.
You don't have to. It's just a lot harder to get a consistent product that doesn't wind up getting, because once you get some bad bacteria in there, you're done.
Yeah. So if you're just going to leave it open air in your house, you may not want to do that if you live near a hospital. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, but like Anthony said, once he had his yeast, then he just treated it like normal sourdough, put it in the jar or in the crock and covered it and stuff like that.
Here's the problem I encounter, because I want to be teaching people all these different things. I want to have all these different cultures growing in my home. So I have kefir, and I have kombucha, and I have sourdough. I can't keep them next to each other and I have vinegars. Okay, all of these things cross-contaminate, and then it all starts to taste alike. You also have to have. It's one of those things where you can't have it all.
Yeah.
And I've heard, and I'm pretty sure it's correct, similar to what Happy Mac just said, but I think it's Ireland or Scotland, there's a particular type of bread they make over there that I'm not even going to begin to venture to tell any details on it. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, on that note, but not quite that far out.
Okay, she's going there, not me.
Potato water is often added to bread because of its yeast component. Potato water is another really good source of yeast that everybody would have in their kitchen. So in an emergency, you could use some potato water with your flour to jumpstart a sourdough starter.
That's what they do at some of the big factories, or whatever you want to call them, that like Martin's Potato Rolls and the other ones. Yeah, they literally, I went for a job there once, and they wouldn't let me in a certain area because that's the yeast room.
Yeah.
And they would not let anybody in there. I mean, you had to be showered, sterilized, all this stuff, but they won't even tell you what's in there because they make and one of the guys told me, he's like, they make their own yeast out of potatoes, but they won't say where they get the potatoes from. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Makes sense.
Yeah. So like if you're, making potato salad or something, you can save that water and use that to make your bread, and it'll make your bread loftier and have more yeast and tastier. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Fun facts are fun.
One other thing, I want to bring up some pictures here. So this is homemade quick breads that I Googled. And so I've always noticed that the quick breads are more like the little loaves of pound bread. You know?
Yeah.
Smaller and stuff. But
well,
then
we're all making quick bread right now. It is zucchini season.
Yeah. So that's what I need to tell my daughter, do with all those zucchinis. I've been taking zucchinis over from them. They got a pile of zucchinis sitting on the kitchen counter. I've been telling them, chop them up, steam them, butter them, feed them to the grandkids. But they haven't done hardly anything with them.
Chocolate zucchini bread is the bomb.
Yeah, the only problem I ever found with zucchini bread is, I can make, a giant batch of zucchini bread. Say that's going to make 8 loaves that are like, 3 inches high, 10 inches long, and 3 inches wide. I'm only going to use like 4 cups of shredded zucchini. And you can't use up all your zucchini. I tried it one year. I was like, we have a ton of zucchinis. Let me shred it, make zucchini bread. And I realized, I'm like, okay, these recipes literally only call for like a cup, a half a cup. I'm like, really? That's it?
Okay, I'm going to tell on myself right now. All right. So, those things that they say you sneak your vegetables in for your kids? When I would cheat and buy Prego, I always had these packets of 2 cups of grated mashed zucchini in my freezer for zucchini bread. So when I would cheat, I'd run out of regular spaghetti sauce. I would take out the Prego and I would throw maybe a cup of shredded zucchini in my Prego while it was boiling and cooking. And it would thicken it up. It would make it more nutritious. I'd feel less guilty about buying that whole sugary store-bought tomato sauce. So my daughter grows up, moves out, comes back. She goes, Mom, I buy Prego. That's the one you always use, but it just never tastes as good as yours. Yeah, it never will, honey. It never will.
Sorry, sweetie.
I don't know if I should tell her the truth and that it had zucchini in it, or just,
Hey, my kids grew up on Kraft macaroni and cheese out of a box back in the day, and they loved it. And then they went to college, and then they called me on the phone. I said, we watched you make it for 15 years. Why doesn't it taste the same? I said, because every time you turned around, I threw in like 4 or 5 little shots of Frank's hot sauce in there, which didn't make it spicy. It just opened your taste buds up. And they were like, are you kidding me? Then they tried it. Now they're telling all their friends and doing it for them. It's like, we do things that
we do a splash. We do a splash of mustard in ours when we bake. Yeah. Do mac and cheese. We always do a splash of mustard.
Yep, same thing. They can't taste the mustard. Yeah, it just opens your taste buds.
Nope. But it makes it so good. So good.
Ooh, I wonder if I take... Hold on, I'm on a freeze-drying rant here. I wonder if I take a bunch of zucchini, freeze-dry it, powder it, and use that in my zucchini bread. Huh.
You can do that. You can use it for up to 1/3 of the flour in any recipe.
Yeah, but it's going to be freeze-dried, so it's going to be super dry. It'll need more moisture. But to get the zucchini in there and probably have some of the flavor to go with it, because I'll leave the skins on it after they're washed.
No,
powder it up to a greenish colored powdered flour looking thing.
I mean, in place of the flour in your recipe, not in place of the wet zucchini.
Oh no, I would use it as flour. Yeah.
You can use it. You can use zucchini for up to a third of the recipe. I hit the mother load day before yesterday. I went to a local Amish Mennonite owned Amish storekeepers in there. So they kind of make people think it's an Amish business, but it's not exactly. And as I'm starting to pull out of the parking lot, my eye catches a little sign by the loading dock that says free. It's out to the road, but on the loading dock end of the store, not the customer side of the store. So I park the car, walk over there, and they had a crate of zucchini free.
Oh, geez.
So I took six zucchini. My freezer will be full of zucchini this year. I am that person that I hope people drop zucchini off on my porch. I cannot get enough zucchini dropped off at my house or grown in my garden.
Big, little, like my uncle used to grow zucchinis on purpose that were literally 4 feet long and 8 inches in diameter. They were massive. And my aunt would make zucchini bread out of it, but the seeds were just, she had to, 80% of that zucchini gets scraped out for the seeds, but he saved the seeds and grew them next year.
Yeah. Okay. Sumi was saying that she'd love to grow some of those ancient grains. To have enough, to grow enough to make it viable, you need to have some acreage to do it on.
Yeah, you're not doing it in a 4x8 garden.
Nah.
Minimum of 6 acres. Minimum of 6 acres just devoted to wheat in order to have enough to barely feed your family.
Yeah, for a couple weeks. Yeah.
Of 4 for the winter. And just for the winter.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. Mother said, I was asking you, Tammy, so the potato water, that's the water after you boil the potatoes?
Yes, after you boil the potatoes, don't pitch that water. Use that in place of the water in baking.
Yeah. And if you wind up with a lot of potato water, don't dump it down the sink. Dump it in the garden after it's cooled down.
Yeah, also in the garden is a good place for it, yes.
Tammy, how would you know so much about volumes of potatoes?
I don't know. Maybe it was that 500 pounds I harvested in 1 year and tried to figure out all the things I could do with it.
I bet you had enough potato water to make a couple thousand loaves of bread at that point.
Yeah. Let's just say most of that water went on the garden. Oh. I think I could have bathed in potato water for months. Oh my goodness.
Ew, that's disgusting.
I didn't mean it that way. I just mean I don't want to, it was a don't waste water reference, not a personal reference.
So congratulations, Suzanne, that Amazon's actually delivering to your house. Cool. Mac and cheese. Oh yeah, Kraft mac and cheese back in the day had Parmesan in it.
Oh
not the chemically produced imitation cheese, cheese-like food powder.
Yeah, they used to legally have cheese. Now it has a cheese-like product.
Yeah, cheese food product. Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if I could take good organic shredded cheddar, freeze dry it, powder it, and mix that in my bread. Make cheesy bread. Ooh. All right, now my brain is just in overdrive, and I got too much to do tomorrow.
My second favorite time is coming up, apple season, because it is almost time to make apple cinnamon quick bread. Apple bread is my favorite.
So, you guys talk about cheese. I'm gonna bring the picture back up. So this on the far right here is cheese quick bread.
Ooh.
So with butter on it.
Ooh.
But yeah, 1 hour 15 minutes, yield 12, whatever it means. Yeah, so this has the recipe. You just hit the visit there. This is homemade.
This is a little garlic in that.
Yeah. Oh, most likely cheese. Yeah, my wife would be tossing the garlic in there. So would my son. But so this is what I googled: homemade quick bread, and just went to the images, and so that's what all this stuff here is. And I'm just yeah.
I bought another half pound of
order that bread. Yeah, they definitely got to order that wheat here as soon as I can afford it, so I can start making bread. Oh, quick garlic bread. Okay. But yeah, so breads, yeah. There are a lot, culturally wise, there are a lot of different flatbread breads and quick breads around the world, but a lot of them are very similar. Things that change up is, the Turkish flatbread is probably a little bit different than the Spanish flatbread, which is different than the Mexico flatbread. which is different than Chinese or Japanese flatbreads.
But they're also yummy, and the trip around the world, culinary wise, is so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah, that would be something to do if you ever find that winning lottery ticket laying on the ground, and you I'm retired now. I'm going to go take a world tour of breads.
The one that's the hardest, the hardest bread to make, and it's a leavened bread, and it's a regular bread. It is pan from France. That's thin, heavy crusted. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just had a thought. Uncle Al popped in my mind, so now I got to say this. British flatbread, also known as hardtack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really hardtack. Yeah.
The bread that traveled around the world. That bread traveled around the world the other way.
Yeah, good for 200 years.
So way back in the day, we had a bread machine. I think we still have it somewhere, but I can't find it. My wife used to love buying Italian croutons. So I was like, all right, I got this. So I did a loaf of bread in the bread machine. I threw in a couple tablespoons of oregano, some basil, bunch of garlic powder, little salt and pepper.
Ooh.
Or pepper. I didn't need the salt. And made it.
Ooh.
It smelled amazing when it came out. Well, we tasted it hot or warm. It tasted horrible. So I cubed it up and threw it in the oven, roasted it, sprayed some olive oil on it, took them out. Now they're amazing. So it was like homemade croutons, and that was her snack for weeks. So, yeah, make your own croutons if you're in the mood.
I do that with day-old bread. Yeah. I go to the bread store to get day-old bread from the...
What? Flat beige flour rocks?
Rocks. Hardtack.
Oh, hardtack, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't dip it in your water. You soak it in your water for an hour.
Yeah.
Well, only if you want to keep your teeth.
Well, this is true. And if you don't have any teeth, yeah, you got to soak it in your water for about a week.
Yeah.
CR croutons. Yeah, I got you, CR.
Or if it happened to be you had got your ration of rum, you'd soak your hardtack in the rum.
Mm.
Oh, all right. Does anybody in the side chat have a favorite? You don't have to give the recipe, but whatever, garlic bread, baguettes, whatever. Favorite bread recipe that you've made at home. You don't have to give out all the details of the recipe, but just mention what your favorite bread you've ever made.
I made pepperoni bread once. It was delicious. Never do it again. I don't remember which bread recipe I used. I'm sure it was AP Flours a long time ago. But I rolled it out, put the pepperoni and cheese in there, rolled it up, sealed it up, let it rise, threw it in the oven. And of course the cheese came out and the pepperoni grease soaked into everything. And yeah, those were amazing bread sticks, so to speak. But yeah, you don't want to, they're not going to last very long on a counter because, you eat them.
All right. So we got, CV said banana bread.
Oh, yes.
That's
and welcome Chekhov, said
Zwieback. What is Zwieback? I know that name and I don't remember what it is.
It's a flatbread cracker. It's like what you give babies to chew on when they're teething.
That's right. Yep. That's why I know the name. We used to buy them for the girls.
Yeah.
Yep. Sausage bread.
Yeah. Now there is something I used to do. I used to in one of my mom's cookbooks, she had all the different bread recipes, and the basic white bread one was the best for using for this. So we had I found it. I found a can around here. I can't find it right now. the cans that the yeast used to come in, we used to have the big tall cans, about 4 inches around, 4.5 inches round, that the Fleshman's yeast used to come in that. We used to save those cans. And what I do is I'd roll out this basic white bread. I think it was in the Betty Crocker school. I'm not sure, but anyways, we'd roll it out about 6 inches wide, and rub some butter on it on the surface. Put brown sugar and cinnamon on there.
Oh yeah.
And then make a cinnamon buttercream frosting, and drizzle a little bit of that heat it up. So with the the butter in it would make it a little more liquid. Drizzle that in it, then roll it up and pinch the ends, and roll it up and pinch the ends. Get it all done, rolled up, and sealed nice and tight. Slide it into the greased yeast can, and we made bigger ones using the little bit bigger size coffee cans later on, and and let it raise a little bit, give it a little punch, but tap it down so it would shrink back down again. And then when it got about almost to the top of the can, toss it in the oven. What it would do is, and we'll put a cookie sheet underneath, down below underneath it, because it would come up like a mushroom. Right? And then it would rupture at the top like a volcano, and you have these streams of cinnamon frosting coming down the sides and crystallizing as it baked. Those things lasted took it out of the oven, give it 10 minutes to cool down. 2 minutes later, they were gone.
Let's be honest.
Hopefully that was after they stopped using lead to seal the cans up.
This was back in the 70s.
Okay. Pretty good chance there was no lead in the seam.
Yeah.
And the 70s, maybe.
Yeah, pretty good chance. It just made the bread taste extra sweet. That's why Gil wears a hat. He's a Mad Hatter.
74. 75. Well, actually, the winter of 73 to 74 and 74 to 75, when we were at the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, so we made this ton of it. And
the 70s, the 70s were the sourdough craze, the Herman sourdough starter. Come on, be honest. Mark, did you have a Herman at your house in the Tupperware sourdough craze?
No, my mom was not a bread fan. She literally took her recipe right out of the Good Housekeeping book, which I still have. And to this day, I cannot remake her bread. I have no idea what she did different. She followed the recipe. I followed the recipe. My bread never tastes like hers. I use gold medal AP, but they've changed that over the last 40 years.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't. The bubbles are different. The texture's different. The flavor's different. I'm like, I don't know what you did, Mom. I wish you were still here, but can't remake your bread.
My grandmother said that she found out that her mom would put a shot of whiskey in her bread dough.
Ah.
Well, that'll sweeten it because the alcohol just boils off real quick.
But it also flavors it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you got whiskey, bourbon, cognac, all the different things that people have used depending on the parts of the world and how rich they were.
Mm-hmm. Now here's another bread we haven't touched on. My grandmother's recipe. Nobody can find it. Johnny cake, commonly called cornbread.
Johnny cake?
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. I've done a ton of research. I've looked at every recipe online. None of them, they have the same ingredients, but like Mark said, none of them taste like my grandmother's.
No, because all the ingredient flavors have changed so much over the years and decades and millennia. So now that I'm staring at Tammy's icon of a canner, this was on your Facebook page way back in the day. I oven canned challah bread. I made a challah recipe. I put it in the jars, let it rise in the I let it rise in the jars, and I baked it in the oven in the jars. And then when it came out, I popped the lids on real quick, and it wasn't the best challah recipe. It could have been more eggs in there. I just followed some random recipe I found. But yeah, a year later, I opened one up. I'm like, yep, still smells like bread, still tastes like bread. We went over this in one of your canning videos like months ago. But yeah, canned bread. And I'm not talking brown bread.
Yeah. Mother Earth says, talking to you, Tammy, says, Mom made cornbread with bacon grease.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. That was in there. I know that was in there. I know she used cornmeal. She did not use any flour. A lot of them have AP flour in them. She didn't use flour. She used a lot of eggs, baking powder, baking soda, but I just can't recreate it. I've seen a lot of recipes. I just can't recreate hers.
Yeah, so I mean, so I'm looking right here. So you got Seasons and Suppers, Old Fashioned Johnny Cake. Food.com is Johnny Cake. Probably has a bunch of recipes.
The second one down on the left, closest to my icon picture, that looks like her bread. But
this one right here. All right, let me get.
That's not. When I do those, I still can't find. Yeah, like that. That looks like her bread. But then I tried the recipe and it never quite comes up to my expectations.
Yeah. So.
But that one's about what it looks like.
This has 1 cup of flour. Yeah. Yeah, that's
It might have been the type of sugar she used too. If she put sugar in there, she might have used molasses or something.
No, she used regular sugar. She lived with us. I know what ingredients she put into it.
Yeah, well, okay, just checking.
I just don't have the right proportions.
Yeah. So you know the ingredients, just not what the exact formula is.
Exactly. That's the problem. The other problem is she had 9 kids, so she was making a large batch, even when it was just me and Mom and Dad and her. So, yeah, that stuff would last for weeks. That stuff would last for weeks without going bad.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the time here. And bring up what's coming up here. Okay, there we go. All right, so tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping, the topic is going down the rabbit hole, talking about spy software programs that are out there, ones that you can get to install on your computer, your kids' phones, and ones you need to watch out for that others are using against you. Monday, back here on Camp Patton Family Compound, we're going to be talking about canning rabbit.
Hassenpfeffer.
Yeah, so there's going to be, canning rabbit flavored, all seasons, cooked, all the different ways to can a rabbit.
I'm going to have to change my icon for that one. Yeah, what's up, Doc?
Yeah. Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping, the topic is you might be a prepper if, so for those that are, you may not consider yourself a prepper, but you're prepping a little bit. And you have people, why are you storing this? Why are you doing that? And then you just, you want to be a prepper. And they go, oh, no. And he said, well, do you buy stuff on sale? A little extra when it's on sale? You might be a prepper. And we're going to talk about ways to poke fun at people that are totally, quote, anti-prepper, but don't realize they might be a prepper. All right. Thursday night's the Midnight Ride. And next Friday is suggested by a couple of people, including CR. I don't really remembers it, but the topic for next Friday is a homesteading product topic of fabrication to save money. Things you can fabricate to save money. And CR is an expert on this sort of thing. So that's what I have coming up. Mark, you got any regular videos coming out yet?
Well, so tomorrow when I just bought a new GoPro tripod, the one that things, because the last one I had on my tractor, I ran over it. Yeah, it fell off the hood, but besides the point. Anyway, I had that on video where you can. I wish I could see the tire coming down on it, but the lens went the wrong way. The GoPro survived. The tripod did not. So I'm going to be doing my tomatoes all day tomorrow. So I'm probably going to GoPro a whole lot of that and try to do. I thought about it because I know with the GoPro, it says you can go live somehow, but I haven't figured that one out yet. So I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, you probably have to
has to go through the app on my phone, I think.
Yeah, you have to tether it. It's the word I was looking for. Tether it to your phone.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna try that one because the plugs are vastly different. But anyway, I want to do because I got the tomato mill, so I'm gonna be milling. I got about 90 pounds of tomatoes to do tomorrow. So I'm probably going to do a whole bunch of videos on that. My sister's all excited about it. She'll help me compile it and get it together. And yeah, hopefully within a week here, I can put a nice, decent video out. And I'll walk around my garden with the GoPro or my phone or whatever and show all my tomato plants and go from there.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be good.
One thing, talking about your tripod, putting it on the hood of your tractor, I've done that. And there's a type of duct tape that doesn't leave sticky crap all over the tractor. So I'm going to share this with everybody. It's 3M's stucco tape. You find it in the paint section where all the duct tapes are. It's like a vinyl tape, and you got to have a pair of scissors to cut it because you can't tear it because it'll just stretch and everything. And it works good, and you peel it off. So long as you peel it off within a couple hours, there's no residue at all left on anytime I've done it. Now, when I've left it on for a couple days, yeah, I can get a little bit of residue. But if I take a
WD-40,
yep. No, I don't even need that. I just take an old pair of jean rags, where I cut jeans, and I just rub that, and it just pulls everything off the smooth surfaces.
Yeah, I went a little further on mine after I ran over it. I went out and bought the 8-pack of GoPro camera mounts, the little clips. I got one stuck to the hood and one stuck to my T-bar. And I can flip the camera any direction I want. So I just clip the camera on, and it doesn't go anywhere now.
All right. And Diane, too, no notification. Oh, man, that sucks. And she came in on both our channels there, Tammy, and she got no notifications from either of us.
I don't get notifications unless I click on the remind me button because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I go on and click on the remind me, and there it is. It pops on my email.
It's still supposed to.
Teresa's here.
Hi.
Stringfield Ridge Farm. Yeah, and yeah, so let me go ahead and get rid of the duct tape stuff. But yeah, I use that stuff that stucco tape instead of duct tape when I'm going to be removing stuff, but I want a good seal and stuff. It's a little bit more expensive, but the cleanup is so much easier. But yeah, so when I get the Icorn ancient flour here, I will be making bread, and I will be doing videos, or maybe even a live stream, cooking during a live stream, showing doing that stuff. So, and I'll probably do a flatbread because it cooks quicker, so it'll work for a live stream. But that's not coming up probably until the middle of next month, or maybe in the first bit of October. Oh, so Tammy, are you going to be trying to go live or not?
Not right now. I've got my grandson here with me, and it's just not going to happen. It's hard enough to keep going mute and unmute just for this hour.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. So everyone, thank you for coming in, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern over on Grayman Prepping for the live stream over there. All right, everyone, stay happy. get out there and try some bread recipes. Find something that's good and healthy for you. See you later.
Have a good night.